Hi, this is Susan. I'm a certified yoga therapist as well as a certified Loren Fishman method yoga teacher. In this practice today, you may find these props helpful: a blanket or block and a strap. Come to your mat and bring your hands to your heart center. The intention for our practice today is willingness. Willingness must be cultivated deliberately. It is an attitude of mind and depends not on outward conditions. Don't wait for favorable circumstances to awaken willingness in you. Train yourself in the attitude of saying yes to life. Release your hands down. We'll start by rotating our wrists in one direction and then reverse back in the other. As you take your next inhale, bring your arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, arms down by your side. One more time. Inhale, lifting up. Please move today in the range of motion that feels best for your body. Nice full deep breaths as you inhale, exhale back down. Bring your arms straight up out in front of your body. As you inhale, bring your arms over to the right, back to center, and then over to the left and back to center. And exhale, arms down by your side. Hands to your shoulders. We'll roll our shoulders back 3 times. And then rotating gently through your head with slight tension, neck circles in one direction and reversing in the other direction. Make your stance a little wide. Keep a slight bend in your knees and your back long, rotating your body around in one direction and then reverse in the other, rotating through your hips. Come back to center. Keeping your hands on your hips, just gently move over laterally to the left and then over to the right, and come back. Right. Shifting your weight over onto your left leg, lift your right leg, rotate your ankle around. Sometimes it's easier for your balance if you hold your wrist. And then shifting to the other side, rotating that foot around on your left foot. I'm mirroring you, by the way. Keeping your legs straight. Foot is hovering off the floor. Let your whole leg rotate one direction and then back in the other. You can always come to them. We'll switch sides. You can always come to the wall if you need to help have the wall for some support. Good. We're going to be using a block today in mountain pose just to help bring some awareness to the crown of our head and lifting up through the crown of our head. You want your feet to be hip distance or closer, toes pointing straight ahead. Take a moment here to lift all 10 toes. Feel the activation through your arches and through your thighs. Feel those muscles lifting and engaging, lifting up. Stay solid through your legs and engage through the muscles in your legs. And go ahead and bring the block to the crown of your head. Once you feel like it's stable there, stay engaged as you push down in through the muscles in your legs, as you push down through your feet. Lift up through the crown of your head into the block. Get as tall and long as you can here, but stay soft through the muscles in your face, soft through your jaw. Make sure you're breathing here. Sides of the neck are nice and long. We'll take one more inhale, and then we'll release the block down. Let the block come back to the floor. And we'll start in tree pose now. So we'll take that same feeling that we felt in mountain pose with us in tree pose. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Bend your right knee and rotate your right leg out. Press down into the mat with your left foot as you lift up through the crown of your head. If you're in kickstand version, which I'm demonstrating, you might periodically lift your toes up off the ground. If you can, slide that right foot up onto your calf. Again, if it's comfortable for your body, lift your arms up and really reach towards the ceiling. Arms are actively engaged, reaching up. Make sure you're breathing here. Fix your gaze on something that is not moving. Stay rooted and grounded through your standing foot as you push down, lift up through the crown of your head. Good. We'll stay for one more breath. And then as you exhale, step your foot back down. We'll switch sides. So shifting your weight over onto your right foot, you're going to bend your left knee and rotate your hips open. Keep your hips facing forward. And notice how when you press down through your right foot, it helps to pull that hip in more towards the midline of your body. Stay actively pressing down through your standing leg as you lift through your fingertips and through the crown of your head. Breath is steady. If you're feeling really steady today, you might even challenge your balance by lifting your gaze slightly upward. Take one more inhale here. And then as you exhale, go ahead and step down. And just gently let your body sway. Notice your breath here. If it's a little shallow or shortened, try to work within the range of motion that's best for you. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale your arms all the way up. Exhale, hands down the midline of your body. We're moving into warrior one. We're going to step our right foot back. The toes of my right foot are pointing up towards the top corner, right corner of my mat. I'm going to bring my right hip forward to try to see if I can square off right and left hip towards the front of my mat. Bend into your left knee and stop when it stacks over your ankle. Bring your arms up overhead. If you can, for your body, try to keep your upper arm in line with your ears. And really engage the muscles in your legs. See if you can either pull your feet towards each other, almost scissoring them together. Notice that stability you get. Or gently push your feet away from each other. Don't let your feet move, but notice how that engages the muscles in your legs. Bringing your hands down to your heart center, we'll pivot up onto the ball of our back foot, lifting our heel, and then step forward back into mountain pose. Pause here for a moment and just notice the effects of that side. And then we'll step the left foot back. Again, squaring your hips forward, bring that left hip forward. If you don't feel stable yet, you could walk your right foot out to the right and see if that helps your stance. Bend into your right knee. Push down through the back heel, your left foot, into the mat. Make sure you're also engaging the muscles through your right leg and lift up through your fingertips. Full inhale, full exhale, in and out of your nose. We'll take another inhale here. When we hold our poses a little longer, it helps to really activate the bone building process because the muscle is pulling on the bone a little bit longer. When you exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Lift your back heel, come up on the ball of that foot, and then step forward. Come back into mountain pose. We're going to move into Utkatasana chair pose. My feet are hip distance or closer, toes pointing straight ahead. As I exhale, I'm going to bend my knees and sit back like I was sitting in a chair. I have more weight coming into the heels of my feet. Again, if it's doable for your body today, you're going to bring your upper arms in line with your ears as much as you can and really reach with those fingertips. You can really activate your arms by spreading your fingers wide. This should not be painful in your low back or knees. Try coming out of the pose a bit if it is. Breath is steady and smooth here. This is a great pose for strengthening your legs and your hips. As you exhale, push down, hands to your heart center, pause. Take a moment in mountain pose to just observe your breath. Slow it down if it's gotten a little faster before we move into triangle, our next pose. So we're going to turn to face the long side of our mat. Step your feet wide. We'll start on the right side. I'm mirroring you. Your right foot is going to turn out 90 degrees. The heel of your left foot is going to slide back slightly. As you inhale, bring your arms out to a T and then reach upward as you come over towards the right so that you can keep length through the right side body. Bring your left hand to your waist, roll that left shoulder blade onto your back. When you feel stable, bring your left hand up towards the ceiling. You're still breathing here, nice and smooth. If you feel a lot of pressure in the back of your right knee, that's your front leg, then put a slight bend in that knee. That will help if you are hyperextending. If your neck gets too tired looking up at your left hand, you could look straight ahead, or you could even look down at the floor. You're trying to maintain length through the left side of your body, and it's really not so important how low down you come. As you exhale, come back out of the pose. Turn your feet parallel. We'll move to the other side. Left foot turns 90 degrees out, and your right heel slides back slightly. As you inhale, bring your arms out to a T and reach to the left, reaching upward, really noticing and feeling the space between your left armpit and your left waist. Bring that right arm up. Now again, you can activate the muscles a bit more and even create a little more stability by pressing your feet away from each other. Turning on those muscles helps to, again, encourage bone building. This pose is great for your balance. It's also strengthening for your legs as well as your hips. We'll stay for one more breath here. Try not to drop your head down, but keep it in line with your spine as one long extension. Push down, come back up. Turn your feet parallel. Pause here in a wide-legged stance as we get ready for Warrior Two pose. Again, notice your breath. All right, Warrior Two on the right side. You're going to turn your right foot out 90 degrees. Left heel is going to slide back. As you exhale, bend into your right knee. Stop when it stacks over your ankle. You might even look down to make sure your alignment is correct. You can look back at your left hand just to make sure it's at where you think it is. And then if it's comfortable for your neck, look out over your right hand. Full breaths in and out. Again, gently push your feet away from each other. With our bones, especially on this side, your right thigh bone cantilevered out like it is in this position, you're getting actually greater gravitational pull to help facilitate stronger hips and legs. One more breath here. Straighten that front leg. Turn your feet parallel. We'll move over to the left side for Warrior Two. Left foot turns out 90 degrees. Right heel slides back slightly. As you exhale, bend into your left knee. Make sure you're not overreaching with that left hand, but keep your torso centered between your feet. As you engage the muscles in your legs, see if you can notice the lift up through the crown of your head. Actively reach with your right and left fingertips equally. And stay for one more breath. And then we'll lower our arms. Straighten your leg, feet parallel, step your feet back together. Come back to mountain pose for a moment to pause and just notice. Notice your sense of willingness. Setting up for side angle pose. We're going to step our feet out wide. Starting on the right side, right foot turns out 90 degrees, left hip shifts back. This pose is kind of like a marriage between the two poses we just did. So our legs, we're going to bend that right knee. Then we're going to bring our right arm up as we bring our torso over to the right. So the top half of our body is kind of like triangle pose. Bottom half is like Warrior Two. Again, it's not about reaching to the floor, but more about maintaining length through the right side torso. So that's the bottom side body, not the top side body. Think of a long line of energy from the crown of your head all the way down your spine and down your back leg. Try to see if you can make that line as long and straight as possible. Your next inhale, come back up. We'll switch sides. Left foot turns out, right heel slides back. As you inhale, bend into your left knee. And then reaching with that left arm to create length through the left side body. Bring your left arm down. Right hand comes to your waist and wrap the right shoulder blade onto your back. Try not to put too much weight into your left arm resting on your left thigh, but instead let the muscles of your torso really hold you up. Again, in your mind, really think about a straight line from the crown of your head, down your spine, out your leg to the mat. One more breath. As you exhale, you're going to push down through your feet, bring your body back up, and meet us in mountain pose. Nice deep breath here, in and out. All right, rounding our spine is contraindicated when we have bone loss, so we're going to come into a half forward fold. Inhale, bring your arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Keep your spine long. Pause when you get to halfway. Really lengthen from the crown of your head out your tailbone. Take a nice deep breath there. You're going to bend your knees, keeping your spine long. Bring your hands to the mat. We're coming into plank pose just for a moment. Plank pose is a great pose for strengthening not only our abdominals, but our arms and wrists. Push out through your heels, lift up through your abdomen, stay broad through your collarbones, and let energy come all the way out the crown of your head without dropping your head down. So again, a long straight line from the crown of your head out your heels. Push the floor away, really activate the muscles through your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing at any point. Drop to your knees if you need to. You've got this. Take another breath here, and then we'll drop to our knees and come all the way down to our belly to crocodile pose. So I'm just take a moment here to stack one palm on top of the other, rest your forehead down, and slow down your breath. Nice deep breaths. We're setting up for Cobra pose. We're going to lengthen our legs, lifting one at a time. Lengthen them as long as you can, and notice any space you might have created through your low back area. Take a moment to press down through the tops of your feet into the mat and notice how your legs engage. Press down through the pubic bone in your hips into the mat and lift up through your navel. The whole lower half of your body very active. Soften that for a moment. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Elbows are tucked in tight by your side. Press down through the tops of your feet, your pubic bone. Lift up through your navel center. And when you inhale, bring your head and chest up. Breathing steady here. Try not to gaze too straight ahead, but instead down towards the top part of your mat, keeping the back of your neck long. And then you might just notice if you're putting too much weight in your hands. For just a brief moment, lift your hands up off the mat and see if you can stay where you are. Don't hold your breath. Don't bear down. Breath is steady, but let the muscles of your upper back be doing the work as well as the muscles through your legs. This pose is great for strengthening our upper back muscles, great for your posture, so important when we have bone loss. And then exhale, come down. You could turn a cheek to one side or come back to your head on your forehead on your hands. Notice your breath here. As you breathe in, your belly presses against the mat. And then we'll bring our hands underneath our shoulders, push ourselves up for puppy pose. When we have bone loss, child's pose typically rounds our spine and not so helpful for bone loss in your spine. So puppy pose is a nice way to find some length, but also to release your back. Your hips are over your knees or slightly behind them. And only if it's comfortable on your shoulders, stretch your arms out overhead. Really see if you can feel that tractioning through your spine. And stay here and pause for a breath. All right, we're going to sit up. Grab your blanket if you have one, or a beach towel, whatever you have. We're coming to a seated twist, and having a little prop underneath our hips can many times be quite helpful for helping to keep the pelvis neutral. We're going to start with Ardha Matsyendrasana, and I will mirror you. So you're going to bring your left ankle by your right hip. You're going to notice when you did that if it made your hips feel uneven. If it did, you're going to straighten out that left leg. If you can, cross your right foot over your left knee, do so, but only if you can keep your hips level. If your right hip hikes up when you do that, bring that right foot back to the inside of your left knee. When we twist with bone loss, we have to be mindful about it. So inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head. As you exhale, gently rotate to the right. Navel, rib cage, and collarbones. If it's comfortable for your neck, you're looking out over your back shoulder. And your right hand is behind you. Try not to use your left hand to crank into the pose deeper than you should go. And keep your breath steady. See if you can gently press that right sit bone down into the blanket as you lift through the crown of your head on an inhale. And then we'll gently unwind. Come back to center. Feet on the floor, knees bent, and we'll move to the other side. Right ankle comes underneath and by your left hip. You may find that one side feels a little different than the other, so really honor where your hips are. We want to try to move into the twist with fairly level hips. See if you can again press that left sit bone into the mat. As you inhale, lift up through the crown of your head, gently rotate to the left this time. From your navel, rib cage, and collarbone. And head gazes out over your back shoulder. Twisting is quite helpful for building bone density through our spine because the muscles that run all up and down our spine are having to contract and pull to get us into that rotation. But we do need to do it mindfully and with a long spine versus a rounded one. Stay long and lifted through your spine. Notice if you feel the natural curve at all through your lumbar area. You don't want to be leaning too far forward. Good, we'll stay for another breath here. To exit the pose, you're going to lift up through the crown of your head first, and then exhale, gently unwind, coming back to center. All right, we're going to straighten out our legs out in front, move the flesh out from underneath your hips. I'm going to lean back on my hands to lengthen my spine and get it as straight as possible. And then as I bring my torso forward, bringing my shoulders over my hips, I'm going to bring my hands by my hips, fingertips facing forward. Activate the muscles in your legs. You're pushing out through your heels, so your legs have this energy moving from your hips all the way through your legs and out your heels, while your torso, you're gently lifting up through the crown of your head. Dandasana, staff pose. This really can be quite an active pose if you're here engaging the muscles. Take another full inhale here, and then we'll soften and release by bending our legs. We're going to get ourselves set up for bridge pose, so you may want your blanket. I use a blanket under my shoulders to help give me space for my neck when I come into bridge pose. And today I'm going to be demonstrating bridge pose by using a block. So again, if you want to use a block, or if you have a block, have it close by. Otherwise, you can skip that portion of it. If you're using a blanket underneath your torso, you want to make sure that your shoulders are on the blanket and your head is off the blanket. Again, your shoulders are on the blanket and your head is off the blanket. Feet are parallel, hip distance, a little closer to your body. And then when you're ready, push down through your hips, lift them up. The block is between your thighs and your arms are long by your side. If you can, clasp your fingers underneath and really engage the muscles in your arms and upper back by pushing your arms down. Keep lifting through your hips. Try to release your glutes and press your feet and shins forward. Keep your gaze towards the ceiling. Breath is steady. Bridge pose, great pose for strengthening the muscles along the back of your body. The block is helping to bring some awareness to your legs, as well as keep your knees hip distance. As you exhale, lower your torso down and remove the block. And then gently bring your knees up and towards your chest and roll to your side. If you had a blanket, we're going to remove the blanket and grab a strap to come down for our next pose, Supine Gustasana. So I'm going to start by taking the strap. It could be a tie, it could be a belt to a bathrobe if you don't have a strap, and wrap it around the sole of your right foot. I'm straightening out my right leg. Apologies that you can't see my left leg. Apologies that you can't see my left foot. But you want to keep engaged through the left leg. So if you can comfortably straighten your left leg, you're going to activate that leg by pushing out through your left heel. Straighten your right leg as much as possible and lift up through your right heel. The muscles of your right thigh are active. Soften your shoulders down towards the mat and keep your breath steady. Notice here for a moment if you are over pulling on that right leg. Try to keep your hips again fairly level. Bring the strap into your right hand, and as you exhale, you're going to let the right leg move out to the right as you stay grounded through the left leg. So really push out through the left heel. Make sure the left hip doesn't feel lighter than the right hip. If it does, bring your right leg back up. See if you can pull your navel down and spin it to the left to help counterbalance that right leg. This pose is great for building strength all through the abdominal area, but it's also great for building bones in your hips. Take another breath here. And then we'll bring our leg back up. Bring the right foot towards the ceiling. If you can, bring your left foot into the strap with your right leg. And then switch, bringing your right foot back down to the mat. Again, straighten out the right leg. You might lift your head just to notice the toes on the right foot. You want them pointing towards the ceiling. Push out through your right heel. And then get your left leg as straight as is comfortable for your knee. Push up through the left heel, bringing the toes of your left foot back in the direction of your face. And go back to noticing your hips. Do your hips feel fairly level? If they don't, take your left hip and push it down in the direction of your right foot. You can create an isometric there by trying to hold that left hip down or creating length through the left side body as you maintain position with your left foot. Bring the strap into your left hand. Slowly let your left leg move to the left. Notice the right side of your body. Is it moving? Is your right hip lifting up? If it is, bring the left leg back up. Try to see if you can really press that right rib cage into the mat. Right hip stays down and heavy, and your right thigh is moving in the direction of the mat. So this pose is almost more about what's happening on the right side of your body than what's happening on the left side for this side. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. We're just here for another inhale. Nice long smooth inhale, another exhale. And then bend your knee and release the strap. And then notice for a moment what you need. Maybe it's stretching out long on your mat, bringing your arms overhead. Or maybe it's bringing your knees up in towards your chest and rocking gently from side to side. All right, we're going to roll to our side to gather any props that you might be using for Shavasana. Shavasana is our last pose, really important to integrate the benefits of the practice. So I'm demonstrating with a blanket under my head, as well as a blanket over my abdomen. That pressure, that gentle pressure on the abdomen can be quite calming on the nervous system and gives you a sense of feeling grounded. Gently rock your head from side to side. Let go of any tension through your neck. Taking a full inhale in through your nose, exhale and release out your mouth. Bring your awareness to your heels. Allow your heels to be heavy, the soles of your feet soft. Relax and soften the toes on your right foot and left. Relax your right calf and your left calf. The back of your right knee and left knee. Soften your right thigh and left thigh. Let go of gripping through your right buttocks and left buttocks. Take an exhale into your low back area. Another breath into the mid-back and upper back. Soften your right shoulder and elbow, the palm of your right hand. Your right elbow, right shoulder. Right arm is heavy. Moving awareness to your left shoulder, elbow, the left palm, left elbow and left shoulder. Left arm is heavy. Relax your head. Notice any softening through your throat. Let go of holding through your jaw. Relax your tongue. Soften the muscles of your face, the muscles around your eyes, and allow your eyes to sink back in their sockets. Soften and broaden the space between your eyebrows, and let go of all effort. Place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Take a moment to connect in to your own inner wisdom. Take a moment to observe any effects of your practice in your body. Any sense of ease through your breath. Any sense of calmness through your mind. Take a moment here to find something that you are grateful for in this very day. Bring to mind that gratitude. You could be placing both hands on your heart center right now. But as you take an inhale, really let that gratitude fill every part of your body. And as you exhale, allow that gratitude to be shared out into the world. And then we'll bring a little movement to fingers and toes, maybe reaching your arms up overhead. And in your own way, bringing your knees in towards your chest, rolling to your side and pausing there. Our quote today reminds us that the word patience means the willingness to stay where we are and live the situation out to the fullest, in the belief that something hidden there will manifest itself to us. And when you're ready, push yourself up to a seated position. We'll all meet in a cross-legged position with our hands at our heart center. You truly have been a blessing for me to lead you through your practice, and I wish you all a beautiful day today. Namaste.